children of the night. What music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you open.
All right. Welcome to Final Guys, the worst horror podcast you've ever heard. I am Jason Brant, joined as always by Jack Campisi.
I can agree with that.
And Hunter Shea.
I heartily disagree. We're the second worst.
Who's the worst?
I'm not going to name them. I don't want them to punch me.
Okay. So this week we're doing a movie called Tremors 6, A Cold Day in Hell as our main feature. So that ought to be a nice, lively discussion we'll get to here in about a half an hour. But before we do, for anyone who likes to drink while they listen to us, because we repeat ourselves constantly and say stupid shit, we have drinking rules. Every time you hear one of these words, take a drink. What do we got?
Okay, this week's words provided by Sheridan Bradford. Jack, your words are kidder, bacon, and graboid. Jack just says graboid a lot on his own. Mine are Arctic, hungry, and Hudson. Jason, yours is act, sequence, and mop. Oh, they picked the wrong guy to say mop.
Yeah, wow.
Bonus words any of us could say are blasters, Bert, and effects.
Blasters are going to be said a lot.
By the way, this is the second set. Should I go over the first? Because he always provides two.
Really? Are you sure he doesn't just repeat it?
I can see it. Oh no, this time he didn't. He just repeated it.
I think the word there would be overkill.
How about shitty movie? Anyway,
before we dive into the news, anyone have any stories, anything going on they want to talk about? Lively bunch, cool.
I was waiting for Jack.
Where the hell did that come from?
Well, do you have anything?
Banter, pre-show banter.
Do you have? How about this? Have any books coming out here soon, Hunter?
Yes, Jurassic Florida will be out in late June. It'll be the first of my One Size Eats All trilogy.
Nice.
Who's putting that out?
That is Lyrical Underground, which is part of Kensington.
Oh, gotcha.
Was it Velvet Underground? Who did the Humpty Dance? Digital Underground.
Digital Underground, yeah.
All right.
Humpty hump.
I made a little trek up to Pennsylvania this week to meet horror authors, namely Summer Cannon, Tim Meyer, Chuck Buda, Armand Rosamilia, Todd Kessling. I met
Kessling, yeah.
I met too many to remember everyone's names. I'm actually surprised I got that much.
Was Frank Edler there? Or I always forget.
Yes.
How to say.
Yes.
He's a blast. he's
so it was at a brewery, so it was cool to have some beers, buy a couple books, got some good signed books from people, and meet everyone. And I put some pictures up on the Final Guys Facebook sex cult group, so check it out.
Yeah, everyone could see you standing next to Tim looking like your little child.
I did dwarf him just a tad.
What are you doing out here, son?
You look like a dark tower to him.
There was a little bit of mentioning of that movie, so but I'll leave that between the two of us.
You didn't just bring like your books and drop them on a table and try to sell them?
Just knock all their shit off and put mine on.
Say, Todd, who? Get this shit out of here. I'm Jason Brant, bastard.
Bigger than all you anyway. Fuck off. So it was cool. I got to meet a couple people, and I learned that Tim actually has his own podcast. Now, he's in this chat almost every week, and he's never mentioned it, being the good guy that he is, so I'm going to throw it out there. It's the Aperture Hour, and it's on the Project Entertainment Network, which is Armand Rosamilia's network. So
that is correct.
Everybody go and check it out. I got to listen to some of it, and it's great. So, Aperture Hour.
Yeah,
go,
we're
Tim.
not good enough for Project Entertainment, but Tim is. Whatever.
Suck it.
I guess you gotta like shitty movies.
Speaking of worst podcasts.
Ah, that's what you were talking about.
Callback.
That's exactly what that was.
All righty. With that out of the way, let's jump into a little horror news. What do we got going on, Jack?
Well, first of all, Margot, the woman who played Lois Lane. Margot. Margot something or other. Is dead at the age 69.
That's a magical.
Oh, I'm
age.
sorry, Sheridan. Am I not saying her last name, Mr. Clever?
Margot Lane.
Banking on somebody's death for drinking purposes? Terrible. These people are terrible.
Margot Lutz.
I'm sorry. I'm just a kidder. I got to say her name.
Dude, I watched Black Christmas that I hadn't seen in years recently. Man, she is phenomenal in that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't watch for this podcast, did we?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You
did?
He's a
whatever. It's a long time ago.
Who has a drinking problem? What?
She was great in that movie.
She's phenomenal.
Oh my God. She should have been on this podcast as that character, drunk and belligerent.
The whole problem is that Christopher Reeve is dead, so there's no spinning in the world backwards, back so that to bring her back to life, like at the end of Superman. So she's gone for good. But yeah, she was in Amityville Horror as well.
Yep.
And when you Google her, like there's this awesome picture of her like in a nightgown open, like that was her in her sexy prime. Then of course she had that sort of bout with mental illness where she was like wandering around and got arrested and all that stuff. Family Guy had a whole thing about it.
That was sad.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it brought a lot of attention to the manic depression situation out there. So sad news. She was only 69.
Honestly, I would have assumed she was older than that. Superman came out a long time ago.
That was like 78, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, me and Jack were 30.
Yeah.
I did always wonder what in the hell his attraction was to her in Superman, because she was so horrible to him and she's just puffing cigarettes, shitting on everyone. It's like, why her?
I was actually thinking about what a great character she was because she like chain smoked.
She embodied New York in the late 70s. That was, and you know what? That's the girl you want. The girl who doesn't give a shit about you and it seems really hard to get. That's the one you chase because we're dumb.
I don't think that's the one you want. I think that's the one you chase. There's a difference.
Well, maybe.
And she has that immortal part. Can you read my mind? Do you know what I think? Where they're flying around. That like every little boy who was watching that movie was like, okay, can we fast forward this part? Come on.
Yeah. It was sad how her career flamed out, but she's an integral part of our development here.
The first time I ever went to LA, me and my buddy Nick were walking into some bar, restaurant or something, and this blonde woman comes walking out, and we both stopped and looked at her, and then we looked back and we go, that was Miss Tessmacher. Valerie Perrine.
Oh my God.
Star of Can't Stop the Music with the Village People, by the way. With Bruce Jenner and Steve Guttenberg.
Caitlyn Jenner. Stop, Jack. Hater.
All right, here's some interesting news for you. So you know how there's going to be this Lord of the Rings TV show on Amazon Prime they've been talking about doing?
No.
I don't know if it's going to take place before everything or like between the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, but
does anyone need more of this?
No, we don't. But so I guess they are talking with Peter Jackson about possibly helming this whole thing because he's Mr. Middle-earth. Although I don't know if he actually wanted to do the Hobbit or not, but he butchered the hell out of that thing. Well, it turns out that he's showing some interest in doing a DC superhero movie. So right now, because Steven Spielberg is doing a DC movie called Black Hawk, which I'm not familiar with.
Spielberg.
Me either.
Spielberg's looking into doing this.
Wow.
And they're buddies. So he's thinking
in.
about doing. And I'm like, Peter Jackson has such potential, but he really needs an editor. He needs somebody to pull him back.
Like Prince needed an editor.
Yeah.
You know, just because you're a genius doesn't mean you should just spew your genius shit all over the place.
He's the Stephen King of filmmaking.
Yeah, imagine like a 3-part Green Lantern.
Wait, Stephen King has an editor. Just think if he had no editor. That would be really, really rough.
So, I mean, The Lord of the Rings is like my favorite book, and I want nothing else to be done with that property. I like the first 3 movies. I hate the Hobbit movies. Let's just leave it alone. I don't care about what happened before. I don't care what happened between. We got all the good stuff.
Jason would kill for a Lord of the Cock Rings.
That movie had to have already been made.
Prince Albert approaches.
Take him to the prostate stimulator.
Hang on, I'm looking that title up right now.
Precious.
It's got to be there. I can't be the first person to think of that.
You are not the first person to think of that. because I thought about it like when the Fellowship of the Ring came out. So.
And I am not the father.
Lord of the Cock Rings, 2002.
Oh, it's an actual movie. Excellent. That should be next week's pick.
One of the stars is Reverend Jen Miller.
Oh, you know, speaking of softcore porn, I did a horror convention, it's a movie marathon, and I was talking to a guy who did that Planet of the Apes softcore porn movie with Misty Monday.
Wait a minute. I think I've seen that.
Oh,
Was that the one on Cinemax?
Yeah, you've seen it.
With like the gorilla masks?
Yeah, he did that movie.
Oh, what the hell was that called? That was hilarious.
Oh my, it was funny. But Misty Monday is legendary.
Yes.
In the softcore porn world.
I saw her once at Chiller, I think it was with you.
Well, remember we saw the ad for her movie Dick Shark.
Was she in Dick Shark?
She was in Dick Shark.
That should be another pick.
The star of Dick Shark. Which I would buy that movie. Sight unseen, I would buy.
You really
Dick
need
Shark.
the Blu-ray.
Oh, absolutely. I want all the extras.
All right, here's some good news. It may be disguised as bad news, but it's good news. Fox has said that there are no plans for season 12 of The X-Files following Gillian Anderson's exit from the show.
Good.
Now, Chris Carter said that he can't imagine that there won't be more X-Files in some shape or form. At some point, there's more stories to tell, but he's not sure what shape or size or form it might take.
Hopefully comic book or novel.
Or wait 10 years and reboot it or something and make it different. But
Mulder, your colostomy bag is leaking. Yeah. I mean, what the hell?
The anthology format of the show does lend it to something that could be redone in X amount of time. I mean, it could definitely be done. Just this iteration needs to die. Enough. I don't know who has, checks they need to cash or a mortgage they need to pay, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the property is too much of a brand recognition for them to let it die completely, but they can do like Buffy and Firefly and just do comic books or something.
Yeah, like they did 3 novelizations back in the 90s that were actually not bad. I mean, you could continue with that, but no more. It was fine. It's over. What am I if I'm not a father?
And then the last piece of news, Scoop posted this on the Facebook page.
Scoop!
Looks like they're working on Zombieland 2.
Oh, time to nut up or shut up.
It's the 10th anniversary. And it looks like they're trying to get the entire Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin.
I bet you I know who's the hardest to get.
It doesn't look like it's a definite thing, but it looks like they're shooting for next year. So
Emma Stone.
Keep an eye on it. Emma Stone's so sweet.
Weren't they going to do a show a couple years back that fell through or something?
I think originally there was supposed to be a show.
Oh, maybe
that's where Zombie Kill of the Week came from.
Nigel Bach's supposed to animate a show for them.
But
think about it. That was like Emma Stone and Jesse Eisenberg were just getting started. Now,
goddamn Twinkies.
She's like won an Oscar, and he's Lex Luthor. And
wasn't that also when Woody Harrelson was kind of making a comeback? He'd gone off the weed deep end there for a while.
Yeah, good for him. I want to go off the weed deep end. Wait till it's legal. I'm done.
I loved that movie. I'm definitely down to watch a sequel. We'll see what happens. I mean, the zombie genre has changed so much since then that it'll be interesting to see what they can pull off.
You walk in my house any given day, that's probably on. It's like a heavy rotation in this house, and not me. My wife watches it all the time.
Let's not forget sweet Amber Heard is in that movie too.
In the beginning, that's
right.
They're on the apartment.
So pretty and kind.
Some solid casting in that. Does that movie have the best cameo ever?
It does.
Yes, without a doubt. And the best opening credits.
Yeah.
Besides Deadpool.
Yeah, all right. I put them 1 and 1A.
Yeah, it's solid. All right.
That's your news.
Nice job. All right.
Good. You
guys ready to jump into discussion about all the shit we watched this week?
Yes. I sure am.
All right, here we go.
We have such sights to show you.
Hunter Shea. What crap did
Yes.
you watch?
Well, I did watch crap. That's very appropriate that you started it out that way.
I saw your list.
Well, actually, I watched a half of crap. First, a non-horror movie, but I figured because it fits in with the comic book thing, because it has Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson, Deadpool, Green Lantern, Nick Fury. I watched The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is, first of all, when it came out, I was like, why the fuck is this movie still in the movie theater like 6 weeks later, and why is everyone watching this? I understand. It is a shit ton of fun. It's Ryan Reynolds. It's playing to the strengths of both the characters. And Salma Hayek is Sam Jackson's wife, who's in prison, who's this foul-mouthed lunatic. I as a Salma Hayek fan, my God, I would just love her to curse at me and kick me in the balls. That's all I want.
Get the mop.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. There's a scene where there's a chase scene through the canals and motorcycles and oh my, it's crazy, and it looks like it's real. It didn't look like a lot of CGI. It's totally unbelievable. At one point, Ryan Reynolds flies through the front windshield and lands on his feet. No concussion, just kind of torqued off that, he got sent through the windshield. But who cares? Just suspend belief and just have a good time and laugh, because it's funny. Then the middle kind of drags a little bit, and the end it's fucking bananas, absolutely bananas. So I'm actually hoping there's a sequel. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Did it
Was
do
this
well
on
enough
Prime
for him?
or anything, or did you pay to see it?
I got it from Redbox, so it was $1.50 on DVD.
DVD.
Jason, did you see it?
I did.
What'd you think?
Yeah, whatever.
To me, it was like it. Even though I watched it in spring, it was like summer fun action movie.
Felt like a generic action movie to me, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
I wasn't all that into it.
Well, it had Salma Hayek, so I'm in.
They're going to look back at this time as the Ryan Reynolds, Chris Pratt window,
Yes,
where they were in everything.
totally.
Yeah, but Ryan Reynolds is in one hit movie. That's it.
Hey, he was in the Amityville
You,
horror.
got to watch The Voices with him. The Voices is a great movie.
Yeah, I did. Like
Oh
that.
yes, that was good.
Good movie. Definitely not a hit. I think
No.
it's Deadpool, and that's it. Everything else is.
He's good though. I don't know.
He's fine. He's just his movies don't seem to do very well.
No. There's a movie where he goes back to his hometown, and he used to be a fat kid.
Just
forget the name.
Friends.
That's it. That's a movie. Anytime it's on, I just sit there and like, all right, I'll just finish this. I don't know
Just
why.
Friends is fucking hilarious. Anna Faris kills in that.
Anna Faris. That's it. I couldn't think of who the girl was.
Who's married to Chris Pratt, but now divorced.
See, 6 degrees of Chris Pratt.
Of Kevin Bacon.
Megan. The other movie I watched, I said I wanted something on in the background, and I had this movie on Prime on my list, Encounter with the Unknown from 1972. I put it on there because it said it was narrated by Rod Serling. It is this. It's a trilogy of stories, supposedly based on true stories about things that happen in cemeteries, but really not. It's like they fucking threw the premise out the window. There was this whole big narration in the beginning that wasn't Rod Serling. Someone else did it. And I was like, fuck it. They talked about some doctor, like Dr. Ryan with the Ryan Research Center, and investigating the shit. And nothing had anything to do with the beginning. I think they tacked that on just to say, let's make this look interesting. It's from 72. It's at the end of the drive-in movie era. And I swear it was designed just for this, because there are musical interludes of just terrible 70s hippie singing that it's like, all right, just, go to town on your girl or your guy and have fun for a while. And then when you come up for air, we'll show you something that is so anticlimactic, you're going to dive right back down their throat and have a good time.
To something that's not anticlimactic.
It's climax. It's bad. It's boring. It's bad. It looks like it's shot on film that had been, maybe the Jack Benny show was originally filmed on it, maybe Mexico Star Theater, and then they got this used fucking film. When you hear Rod Serling come on, you're like, oh crap, it's this sound. This is going to be like a Twilight Zone, and then it's not. So if you just want something on in the background that just has kind of, it gives you that 70s kind of vibe feeling, that's fine. But if you're setting down with popcorn and a beer, you're going to be grossly disappointed. That's what I watched. I started watching Killing Eve on BBC America. It's about a woman. I can't remember her name. Sandra Oh. She works for MI5, and she ends up trying to track a Russian serial killer. She's a sociopath killer for hire. It's amazing. Jack, once you watch the first episode, you will never stop watching because the assassin is gorgeous, and she's right up your alley.
I'm gonna bang one out tonight when we're done.
This chick is effing crazy.
Where can you find that?
BBC America. The first 5 episodes are on demand right now. It's an 8-episode series, so catch it. I mean, it's addictive.
Cool.
I read a book by Josh Mallerman. He of Bird Box fame, which is a movie coming out with Sandra Bullock.
And an outstanding book.
That book is amazing. Doesn't that book make you just want to go, maybe I should stop writing and take up street sweeping? It's
one of those where I'm like, I suck. What am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this book is his third, Unbury Carol, which is, they never say when it's set, but you get the feeling it's the late 1800s in a Western town. And it's this woman, Carol Evers, or Evers, however you want to say it, who has this condition where she dies. Okay. But her death for her is this coma where her heart beats maybe once every minute. So it's very easy to mistake her for death, and there's always this concern that she'll be buried alive.
Jesus.
And
all right,
in the book, she's realizing her best friend she just buries her best friend who knows the secret, and the only person who knows is her husband. And she's thinking, I have to tell somebody else. The stress of the funeral puts her into this la-la land. Nobody else knows but her husband, who decides, oh, she's got money. I'm just going to bury her. I'm just going to declare her dead. The only thing that helps her out is the fact that there's a plague that's hit the town, so the morgue can't process the bodies fast enough to put her in the ground. So it's a modern or a pre-modern take on Sleeping Beauty. She's the Sleeping Beauty. Her ex-boyfriend, who is an outlaw called Moxie, has to ride on horse all the way from the town he's at to get her before she's put in the ground.
Nice.
And the husband also hires a bounty hunter called Smoke to kill this guy, Moxie. Smoke has 2 fake legs made of steel that he fills with oil, and he doesn't carry a gun. He just sets fire to everything with the oil that spurts out of his legs.
What?
I'm not kidding.
Okay. That's
yeah.
It's all right.
It's fucking out there. It's wonderfully written. It's a very divisive book. Some people really like it. Some people really, really hate it. Go look on Goodreads and you're going to see this. There's a straight line. I'm one of those people who really liked it. I know a lot of people were upset about there's like a lot of repetition. Everybody in this book says the phrase "Hell's Heaven." I don't know if anyone's ever said that anywhere, and I think that's him trying to set this in a place that doesn't really exist but seems familiar. It's fantasy. It's a fantasy book, really. I highly suggest you check it out. Buy it. Get it on your Kindle, get it on paperback or whatever it's in now, or get it at the library. It was sitting right there, the new selection when I went in. So check out Unbury Carol. Tim Meyer liked the book, which I was shocked. I thought he would think it was not good because it required thought.
That's not fair. Tim likes everything, including bad stuff.
Yeah.
He does like good stuff, too.
Josh Mallerman is the man still to me.
So he figured Bird Box sold too many copies. He should write a horror Western so that nobody reads it.
I know. We all could have told
we have all made that fucking mistake.
Yeah. But he's also one of those authors. When you tweet out something to him, he responds to you. He's a really good guy.
Nice.
He's at that stage where he could just tell you to go fuck yourself or never respond to you, but he does, and he's awesome that way. So I highly suggest you pick it up.
Cool, Josh. All right, Jack, what do we have?
First of all, I went back and watched the original Tremors.
I would applaud if it wouldn't sound like shit.
I'm one of those people that saw Tremors like once when it first came out. thought it was okay. It was not my thing back then. It was too Kevin Bacon was too mainstream for me, and it was too light. And I was looking for stuff like Maniac and Dawn of the Dead back then. Not
You didn't want to cut Footloose?
exactly. I don't know if I've ever seen Footloose from start to finish. So
Oh,
I know
my
it's the
God.
best movie ever, according to Peter Quill.
Pants off, dance off.
So I remember thinking it was okay. I don't think I've ever seen any of the sequels. So I figured there's two kinds of people in this world: the Tremors people and everybody else. And
That's your dividing line for humanity?
well, what about Bob? That is the best one. There's two kinds of people in this world: those who like Neil Diamond and those who don't.
September morn.
I've seen Neil twice, so you know where I am on that. So first of all, I watched our main feature first. Then I went back and watched Tremors.
Oh God.
And
Wow.
I don't want to get too much into the new movie, but I will say this: what a difference having Kevin Bacon and what's the other guy? His name?
God damn it, Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward is awesome in that movie.
And Reba McEntire.
And Reba
McEntire's
McEntire. And what's his name? The guy from Family Ties. He's great in it too. It's a
Michael
lot of
Gross.
fun. It's a throwback movie. So I was like, now I was more in a place to enjoy it now than when I was like a jaded young horror fan. It was like, I didn't not dislike it. I saw it once and never really sought it out again.
I only watched it a bunch of times because my wife was one of those. I love it. I'm going to put it on all the time. When we watched this new one, she said, "Oh, let's watch part 5. That's on Netflix." I said, "No, you can go fuck yourself. I'll divorce you before I watch that."
So upon revisit, it was a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Definitely. I don't know about anything about the sequels. I actually read a bunch of Wikipedias about what happens afterwards. It doesn't sound like, I'm sure people in the chat room can talk about which ones they like and which one they don't. But this is one, I think it was on Shudder. That was one of those. I'm happy that I got to revisit it. So I'd definitely say.
Is it a thumbs up a Graboid's ass blaster?
So there was no ass blasting in this.
No.
No, which is something totally different in Lord of the Cock Rings.
Well, when I hear ass blasting, all I think about is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like, they try and ass blast you.
Yes.
At some point, I'd like to do like a long review of Tremors because I watched it maybe 2 years ago now for the first time in a while, and I was shocked at the level of filmmaking in that movie with the miniatures and the practical effects. It's so seamless that I only noticed one shot where I was like, okay, that is clearly they composited that together. The rest of it just is fantastic.
Well, they also use like puppets and things like that, which they look great.
They really do. It looks fantastic. It really does.
It's got kind of a Little Shop of Horrors meets Ass Blasters kind of thing going.
Feed my ass.
So then last night, I had all intentions of watching something else in the horror genre when I discovered that Baywatch was on Amazon Prime. So I said, screw that. I've been waiting to see Kelly Rohrbach and Alexandra Daddario running in slow motion for a long time. So me and the gang at work ordered some food, got some beers, popped on the TV and watched Baywatch last night. And I know this movie got destroyed by critics. And
Alexandra Daddario, that's all you have to say.
oh,
The
and
best
Kelly
press in
Rohrbach,
Hollywood.
who grew up right around here, which I found out because this kid that worked for us was like, did you know that? You know,
She grew up in your garage, Jack?
turns out a friend of mine knows her. Like, she's older and like her kids were friends with her. I'm like, oh, I'm so close.
Hey, tell everyone who you know. You know someone pretty famous. Don't you know Nancy Grace?
I do not know. I know
Who am I
Rita
thinking
Crosby.
of? That's it. I confused the two of them.
And I know Trey Wingo from
See?
ESPN. I have a tape of me and Trey Wingo singing karaoke somewhere in this room.
I
He's
now
a
know
really
Tim
good
Meyer.
Hang
I
yourself.
have a restraining order against Tim Meyer. He named his kid after me. It's really weird.
Oh my God.
I'm honored though. His kid's a cutie.
So I saw Baywatch. It was way better than the reviews made it seem, but I don't know that it's one I really want to revisit.
So
anytime
I
soon.
go way back with Baywatch, and if my best buddy Morgan is listening, he and I used to live together back when Baywatch first started. and Parker Stevenson was on it.
That's why you watched it, right? For Parker?
Well, I can tell you the first time I ever saw Baywatch, we had a big party, like a semi-formal Christmas party where we had like crazy food and booze and everything like that. And then we had all this leftover wine. So I was literally drinking like white Zinfandel or something out of a bottle. Walked into Morgan's room where he had a big TV. And there was a slow motion montage of like this chick by a pool with sprinklers going. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Because it's that Parker Stevenson Hasselhoff show about the lifeguards. I was like, oh, and we were going to go out somewhere. So we basically preloaded watching Baywatch. And we were like, oh my God, this is like the greatest show ever. And became our like staple for the rest of our lives. Baywatch was just a favorite. It was
I got a question.
Yeah.
You have to watch one show, Baywatch or Charmed. Which is it? See? It's like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah, it really is.
And you don't need audio for either show.
Yeah.
The story you just told, Jack, is the exact one from Friends between Joey and Chandler, where one of them walks in.
That was phenomenal. Yasmin, run.
That's how long.
So watching the Baywatch movie for me, I actually thought they did. First of all, we clearly have lines of movie qualification. There's I didn't like this because I saw it in the theater and I paid for it. I didn't like this because I saw it in an empty theater. I liked it because I rented it instead of seeing it in the theater, or I only liked it because it was on Shudder or Netflix, so I didn't have to pay for it. And that's exactly what Baywatch is now that it's on Prime and you can just, I'm looking for new content. There's something. You'll enjoy Baywatch. If you went to the theater to see this, yes, you want to kick yourself in the nuts. Like, well, why did I do that? Except for Alexander Daddario, and every woman in this movie is a knockout. Kelly Rohrbach, the other ones. But one of the great things they do in this movie, and Jason, you can attest to this, is the cops keep calling them out. Like, why are you investigating this crime? You're lifeguards.
Yeah, that was really solid.
That's funny.
And casting Zac Efron and The Rock was the way to go, because basically the two of them are funny guys who are just themselves in this. And it is the plot of the movie is exactly a Baywatch show in a hour and a half with a bigger budget. So
$150 million budget.
Yeah, there's kind of a funny Hasselhoff cameo. The Pamela Anderson cameo is ridiculous. It's stupid, but they should have had more Hasselhoff in it. Like
my favorite Hasselhoff cameo is in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Where he rides him like a dolphin. That's awesome.
He's great in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Oh yes, I gotta watch that again.
So that's all I watch. But I would say this: I have a history with Baywatch. I also like funny movies that have really hot chicks in them. So for me, checked enough boxes. And again, had I paid anything for this, I might have a different tune. But for Amazon Prime, I'm like, yay! I'm finally getting something for this stupid membership I'm paying for.
Yeah, it's on Prime. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow while I'm working.
Watch it on a big high-def screen.
Or just go put in a certain episode of True Detective.
Oh, yes.
Dude, that'll change your life.
Or just go to Pornhub. They'll show just that part.
Well, you guys can't see the other window I have open.
Projected on your wall. All right. I'll jump through mine here quick.
Take your time. No one gives a shit about the Tremors movie. Take your time.
Except Jamie Evans.
So I went back and I saw Tales from the Hood, the 1995 anthology.
Is Snoop in that?
No, he was. Oh shit, what was he in? I can't remember the name. Bones or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Tales from the Hood is actually. I like that movie.
I don't think I ever saw it.
I caught this. It was on repeat on HBO in the late 90s, just all day for 2 years. So I watched this in junior high or high school, whenever the hell it was, multiple times, and then I have not seen it in 20 years. The movie, I guess, came out on DVD, but went out of print quickly, and has just disappeared since then. So no one has seen it. So anyone born after 97 has probably never even heard of this movie. And it's a shame because this is really freaking good.
Yeah.
It actually builds in quality throughout. a little goofy in the first 1 or 2 segments. Some really cool stuff will happen, and then it's a little goofy. But as it builds on, it just gets so good. And there's a little bit of social commentary in there, but not anything crazy, not anything distracting. It's actually really well done. And you want to talk about non-PC? People going back and watching this today are going to be pissed.
I never saw this movie. I gotta check it out.
You never saw this?
If you like horror
so.
anthologies, it's really solid. Really, really solid. It
is.
It's one of those where I never felt like any of the segments were crap, which is rare for a horror anthology. So
Yeah, I like it better than like a Bordello of Blood or Demon Knight. I actually like it better than Demon
except
Knight.
that those aren't anthology movies, but
whatever. They're from an anthology series.
That's
why I put them in the
Tales
same
from the
freaking thing.
Crypt. Is this a Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood, or is it?
No.
It's like a take on Tales from the Crypt.
yeah, it's just like a spin-off,
Tales
but
from
there's no Crypt Keeper. Or
Is there a Crypt in the Hood?
there is a morgue in the hood, which is with the wraparound story. But
Now, Hood is short for neighborhood, correct?
I believe
Yes,
you're
Jack
correct.
Rogers.
So you can actually rent this right now on Amazon. It feels like something would be perfect on Shudder, but for $4 or $5, it's a solid rental.
Go to Best Buy and buy the freaking Blu-ray for $4.
Oh, is it that cheap there?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was like a limited release thing.
Save your money and buy Dick Shark.
Hell yeah, Misty Monday.
So I found a movie on Netflix called Bad Match, not Bad Batch, which I
You
think
mean
was
the one
you
that
just watched.
I reviewed 2 weeks ago?
Not bad,
Yeah, not this one. This is about a guy who uses a Tinder-like app to meet women, sleep with them, and then he doesn't see them again.
Did you think this was a manual for filling your day?
I was taking notes at the beginning, and then I saw it was a horror movie, and I was like, oh, God damn it.
Ah, shit.
So it starts off not painting him completely in a negative light like it sounds. It's just this guy has kind of a shtick. He meets women. They want to have sex with him. He wants to have sex with them, and then he just kind of goes his own way. And he meets one woman who is not right in the head, and things devolve from there. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's very easy to get into spoilers with this movie, but it takes an incredibly dark turn around the halfway or 2/3 point that took me by surprise. And it starts off as a kind of goofy, funny, quirky film, and by the end it is dark as hell. So the tonal shift I liked. I'm sure some people won't, but it made it that when it got to the ending, it had more of an impact on me because the beginning kind of puts you off guard.
This is Bad Batch.
Bad Match.
Oh,
Match. As in matchmaking, like Tinder match.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was free on Netflix. Tiny little film. Really liked it. The kind of movie I like to find.
Reviewed 2 weeks ago by me.
I only watch movies that like deal with Grindr. Does that say something about me?
So the next movie I watched.
Grinder. I don't even know her.
Or him.
Yeah, her. So the next one I watched, I found on Prime, called The Night Watchman. Just came out last year. It's about a bunch of inept security guards at a big office building who basically fight off a vampire infection.
Also reviewed by me on this show
When did you talk about this one? I don't remember that.
a few months ago.
I love how none of us know a fucking thing that's gone on before. It's like nothing ever happened before the current episode.
I remember Bad Match. I don't remember The Night Watchman.
You don't listen. You watch the chat room when I
I do
talk.
read the chat. Did you like this?
I did.
I was so surprised at this. Yo, you know what? I found it on my watch list, so I must have heard you and added it and then completely forgot.
It's a good dumb fun movie.
It is. The humor's really well done in this. And it's maybe 80 minutes, 82 minutes, which is good because I felt towards the end the shtick was starting to get a little old.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed this. I thought it was well done. It's goofy. It's irreverent. If you're looking for something serious, don't do this. If you're looking for something realistic, don't watch this. But
It's got vampire clowns in it.
yeah,
Oh, hell yeah.
it was a fun movie. I mean, it's a great Prime film, you know.
Steve Barnard might like this one.
He might.
There's
I don't
no
know.
stripper zombies, but there are clowns.
I was looking for disembodied buttholes, but I didn't see any. So he might
They're
cross.
hard
it
to
off the
see,
list.
though, because they're disembodied.
So yeah, Prime, Night Watchman, solid movie.
See, I think I paid. I don't know if it was on Prime when I saw it, so you lucked out.
Great Prime film. And then, because of your recommendation, I read Ararat, the Christopher Golden novel. And I loved it. The guy has a great writing style. The pace was really on point, actually. I was surprised when I went to Goodreads. I saw it is not rated very highly. And that...
Really?
Like 3.2, 3.3.
That's a Bram Stoker winning novel of best novel of the year.
I didn't read the reviews. I just wondered if maybe it's because a lot of it's based around religion. If, I don't know, people were being weird. Because I couldn't understand it. I thought the book was great.
Yeah, I mean, that's a mainstream horror book. That's not, the usual stuff that we read. That's one that got into bookstores everywhere, and regular people read it. But you're right. You know what? That might be the case because there is a religious undertone to this. It's because there's Noah's Ark,
right?
Potentially in Ararat. So maybe that turned people off.
Anytime you get into religion, you never know how people are going to handle it. That's the only thing I can guess because the pace was there, solid prose, great characters. I didn't get what there wasn't to like. So
nope, there wasn't a misstep.
It's my only complaint is it's pricey. These damn big publishers making their ebooks freaking $12.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. That's why I go to the library.
I hate to say that because I want these guys to get paid, but for God's sake, like
they got paid from the library purchase. So
it's a different model, but yes. Yeah. So you're not just pirating it, at least.
Right.
So
yeah.
Christopher Golden.
Paid for the library?
Well, yeah, the library's got to buy the book, and it's a hardcover book, and it costs more, and then they get a royalty off that. So,
they have to pay more to get it, but they get a little bit.
Christopher Golden is the shit. If people aren't reading all his stuff, then you've lost. You're not reading the right stuff.
This was the first one of his books I've read, and I dug the hell out of it. So,
awesome.
All
right, gentlemen, you ready to talk about snow scenes shot in the desert?
Hold on, I want to plug one thing. Jamie Evans is in the chat room. Jamie's got a new video blog podcast, Morning Movie with Jamie. That he's the guy who runs Dark Dossier magazine. He's our old pal. So go into our chat room. He'll put the link up and check out his new show.
Boy, that was said with enthusiasm. Who could not want to check that
out?
Go
watch that piece of crap.
So this is a YouTube show?
He's on YouTube. Yep. It's like every day. I don't know how the hell he does it.
He's on the tubes.
Morning Movie with Jamie. I will check it out as soon as this is over.
Yes, absolutely. If you guys don't, we will come to your houses and punch you in the balls.
I have a link to it on the Monster Men Facebook page too. You can scroll down a little bit and find one.
Boom. All right. Let's get into some ass blasting.
I think I go to the bathroom.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Because this was your brilliant recommendation, Hunter, I would love for you to explain this movie to us.
You know what the funny thing is? As I was watching this, I said, who's the asshole who said we should watch this?
I'm going to actually defend him for a minute here because we're so desperate for new releases. And this thing was on Netflix, so we don't have to pay for it. And so if we had done Deep Blue Sea 2 like I had suggested, we would have paid $6 for a worse piece of crap.
Thank you.
And these people in the chat room who are complaining about this movie, we're paying for so many bad movies so that other people don't have to watch them that I don't want to hear it from anybody.
That's right, damn it. Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. Hunter, you keep finding new releases and telling us about them, and only Jason and I can give you crap about it.
Thank you.
That's right. All you people who support us, go fuck yourselves.
Yes.
I don't want to hear shit from you.
It's the bitching about the movie. Stop bitching about the movies. We're horror fans. We got to watch crap. Look at Tim Meyer. He pretends he likes all this crap.
Welcome to the Aperture Hour. We're going to discuss...
Aperture. You know what I love? When the aperture's only a little bit. It's only a little light gets in.
Aspect ratio is really low when the aperture's down. So, anyway...
I was trying to think of an aspect ratio joke. I couldn't get anything.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's my aspect ratio.
There we go. I don't even know how to describe this movie. This is part 6 in a tired franchise. And Michael Gross, who is trying to talk through what is obviously his new dentures, is is still back in the old
Jesus Christ
desert town, pursued by the IRS because they're going to take away his store or whatever. And then he gets a call from the Arctic, the Canadian Arctic, from somebody who happens to be related to people from previous movies, that there are graboids in the Arctic. And he just picks his shit up with his son, Jamie Kennedy, who looks like 74 shades of hell.
Holy freaking crap.
That guy has a case of coke bloat like I've never seen in my life.
Jesus Christ.
The Jamie Kennedy experiment was a failure.
He makes Tom Sizemore look like he should be in Playgirl. So they head off to the Arctic. This team of geologists and DARPA's nearby doing their friggin' thing. And they have, I think,
the Arctic, which is really the beach with a white filter over it.
There's no fucking snow.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that scene.
Yeah, so there's snow in the beginning, but not really much after that. So they go up to the Arctic to fight the graboids. Their plane gets knocked down by ass blasters, which I hadn't seen the coming of ass blasters before. So I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You're not exaggerating. They keep yelling ass blaster every 5 seconds once that thing shows up.
They crash land, which is the softest touchdown in Alaskan bush history. And they're in this complex fighting graboids. And Michael Gross has a graboid infection.
And the Arctic looks exactly like where Michael Gross left because of global warming.
Yeah. It almost looks like they shot it in South Africa.
Yeah, this is like global warming conspiracy assholes behind this movie. Trump should kill you for making this. And Michael Gross goes to the hospital several times. There's never a doctor or a nurse because they couldn't afford to pay anyone to play a doctor or a nurse in this stupid hospital stuff.
But you do see his ass.
You do see his ass, and the only way to save him is to capture a graboid, get its antibodies to make anti-graboid him. That's as far as you could go. And if we spoil it, who the fuck cares? This movie's spoiled the moment you watch it.
Well, then what are you going to spoil?
Nothing. Here's the thing. I'm watching this movie, and 15 minutes in, my wife gets up to do anything but watch it. And at 16 minutes in, I'm going, I think I'm going to turn this off, and I'll mail this in. I'm like, oh shit, I chose this movie, so I gotta watch it to the end. So I did.
I gotta be honest, I had a few drinks after work, and then I watched this, and I think I dozed off for a couple of minutes.
Lucky you. I was sober.
But so then I'm watching the original Tremors, and there's a little kid in it, and I'm like, is that kid Jamie Kennedy now? So I went to IMDb to look, and I'm like, oh no, they're two different people. So Jamie Kennedy came into the picture somewhere.
I get the feeling, well, he was in the fifth one from what I saw on Netflix. I get the feeling that Michael Gross had him with someone other than Reba McEntire.
Yes, correct. That's what I got from listening to this. He had an affair with someone, produced Jamie Kennedy. And
Reba McEntire should have been in this movie, number one.
Was she killed off in the series?
It doesn't sound like it. They kept talking about her like she was alive.
Really? Maybe she just divorced.
They're hanging onto that thread, hoping somehow they can get the budget to bring Reba McEntire back in.
I don't even understand how they can cancel the Kevin Bacon TV series and greenlight this. Why didn't they just make a movie with Kevin Bacon? And,
this was done, and it's now shit the bed. You can't slide in those sheets with a TV series now.
But when they were like on the drawing board of we need to do another Tremors thing, why didn't they just get the gang back together and make, the Empire Strikes Back of the...
Well, if it was with this writing
Tremors
crew,
one.
it would be just as shitty. Because this was some of the most embarrassing dialogue I've seen in a long... Michael Gross should hang his head in shame forever. He should do the Cersei walk of shame for doing this movie.
Shame.
And we saw his ass.
I'm going to
like
disagree.
shame.
Michael Gross is pulling off a scam of epic proportions. He is getting paychecks out of this to just show up and pretend he knows what the fuck he's talking about with these guns and these ass blasters.
What happened with his character? Like, this character is nothing like he was.
Well, to be fair, I've seen 1 and I've seen 6, so I couldn't even tell
I
you.
kept waiting for his
Me
implants
too. I
or
haven't
his
seen this whole arc.
fly out of his mouth. He's learned. They're new. Those are brand new teeth, and he was trying to figure out how to talk through those fucking choppers, and it wasn't working.
So you didn't seem to be too much of a fan of it. Jack, you dozed off, but when you regained consciousness and finished it, where are you at?
I thought it was better than Deep Blue Sea 2.
Wow.
I'm so glad you talked me out of watching that.
Good Lord.
You know, I felt like it's like, why wasn't this just a sci-fi movie? How did this? I guess it's good content for
How did
Netflix.
they con Netflix into buying it?
Oh, sci-fi would have elevated this.
I guess the special effects for the graboids was pretty good because they showed more graboid than I expected.
Way more.
So maybe the graboid budget was where they. But I'm watching this going, this, especially with the Jamie Kennedy factor and the beach Arctic. I'm like, this is a freaking sci-fi movie.
Oh my God. I think the budget was blown on the first ass blaster scene. That's it.
Blaster?
The ass blaster that blew up on the plane, and then there was not a drop of ass blaster on the plane once it landed.
So I'm going to go in the other direction.
No.
Well, hang on. So I started this movie. I got to the part with where they're on the glacier, and I'm looking at all of them thinking, why are they wearing sweaters and light jackets? It's negative 40 degrees or whatever.
Well, because they said it's, what did they say? It's like fucking
Well,
global warming summer or something.
This is before they said that. This is just when the people were drilling. It's like the guy and two women. I'm like, what the hell? Like this is weird. And all the shots are kind of down looking up, so you can't see the background, except you can see the occasional snow dune. And once I saw them start to move, I'm like, what? They're in the goddamn desert. They blew out the whites. They probably went to white sands or something, added some blue and some white to the color tones. And it's when they're running, you can see the goddamn sand
kicking up.
It's mind-boggling how lazy that intro was. I couldn't. So I watched that. I watched about 20 minutes into it, and I stopped it. I got on Twitter, and I started shitting on you in the Facebook group for making me watch this movie. And,
I'm fine. I'll take it.
I had to go back last night and finish it. And I'll tell you what, I didn't want to. So I poured a pretty tall whiskey. It was a good 4 or 5 fingers. And I'm watching this, and upon going back, I realized this movie is so bad it's good. It is so ridiculous and so over the top that I started enjoying it. The dialogue, I'm watching it just in utter disbelief at how many times they said ass blasters.
They did make fun of it at one point. Like when he said it, they all laughed.
I kind of disagree.
Shut up! I'm serious.
I kind of disagree with you, though. I felt this was a movie trying to be so bad it's good, but trying too hard,
not achieving.
So
yeah,
I don't know how much they were trying to make it bad versus how much they were aware of what they were doing and were just tongue in cheek. I couldn't quite tell, but they definitely knew they were making something dumb. But I'll tell you what, some of the effects were surprisingly decent. The stuff under the ground,
yes,
it shocked me how many practical effects they actually used in this movie.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy really looked like a zombie.
But then they would do things like where the guy's pissing off the tower to attract it. So they're obviously doing things to be ridiculous, but I never felt like it was approaching Sharknado levels. But I felt like the dialogue was for sure tongue-in-cheek, but still ridiculous.
I hope it was tongue-in-cheek, or maybe it was written by a 7-year-old. It was hard to know.
That it also felt like. The way that they were throwing ass blaster around, I was like, it really seems like they just told a 7-year-old ass blaster, you can say it as much as you want. What? Really?
I completely agree, and I'm curious, not curious enough to go watch it, but I'm curious about the 5th one, if they brought Jamie Kennedy in because they know they're just so far off the deep end. We're going to bring a comedy guy in, let him say some stupid-ass one-liners, and just go with it. So
God almighty.
I ended up enjoying parts of this by the end.
Jesus, really?
It's not one I would ever recommend to someone, but I like to watch Sci-Fi Channel movies. I enjoy them.
Right. Yeah, so, well, that's right up. You know, it's funny. Like, I bought the movie Tarantula a few weeks ago. That's a shitty movie, but there's something, I don't know, it's a little more gravitas to those old movies as opposed to this pile of garbage. I don't know. I think it was so bad it's bad.
You know what? Back then, you're talking about like the 50s.
It was the 60s, I think, maybe early 60s.
The thing is about those is that they get an A for effort because, you know, they're messing around with special effects, and
right.
It was a totally different time. Now, you know, there's the B movies. Go ahead.
The cheesiness is almost unforgivable now. Like, it doesn't need to be. My daughter can make better special effects on her iPhone sitting on her back for 2 hours for some of these things. I don't know. Just Michael Gross. And by the way, if you've ever wanted to see what Michael Gross's pasty flat ass looks like, this is the movie.
Or if you ever want to see him attempt to run, I don't know if the guy's got bum knees or something, but goddamn.
75, right?
What's harder to look at, Michael Gross's ass or Jamie Kennedy's face?
I don't want to shit on the guy too much because I don't know what's going on with him, but I did not recognize him at the beginning. And I kept thinking, this guy looks really familiar to me. And his voice is ringing a bell. And I looked it up, and I couldn't fucking believe it was him.
Yeah, who's that scuzzy, bloated dude with the weird windblown hair?
Yeah, his hair looks like crazy.
What? I think he has 7 strands on his head, and they just hairsprayed it enough to make it look like more.
They should have got weird. Like Bonaducci or something. Jamie Kennedy just wasn't bringing the funny.
No, well, they didn't give him anything to say.
True.
I am just hoping they dirtied his face up a little bit and screwed his hair, because if that is just he walked on the set, that's a cry for help.
Now,
something's
I was
gone
glad
wrong.
to go back and watch Tremors, because there was a total callback to Tremors where at the end of this movie, Michael Gross tells the guy to Jamie Kennedy to go. He like has a confrontation with the girl that he likes, that he kind of wimps out, and Michael Gross makes him go and give her a kiss.
Yeah, go Harvey Weinsteiner.
Yeah, and it was a callback to what Fred Ward does with Kevin Bacon. So it's like, look, they did a callback there.
A terrible callback.
Terrible.
By the way, when they capture the graboid and Jamie Kennedy has to go tunnel into its gullet, why doesn't the thing just close its mouth on him?
They had its jaws clamped with the rebar.
I thought so, but then in 2 scenes, they were completely clear of the rebar. So that's why I was like, why isn't it just closing his mouth and killing him?
So I actually thought that would have been a good mid-movie scene instead of the kind of final ending of the movie. That would have been a good thing to show, and then, you know, from a character standpoint, but what am I expecting from this? So
I know. My wife kept asking questions. Like, she came back. She goes, why are they doing this? This doesn't make sense. I said, if you ask me one more fucking question, we're going to have a problem. I said, there's no questions to ask here. I don't know, and I don't care.
That is the exact right answer for everything. I don't know, and I don't care.
I was trying to look up the budget of this because, like I said, they used quite a few practical effects. I thought this CG of the actual graboids themselves was pretty decent. But anytime it was the tongue hand things, the grabbers that come out of the mouth, it looked god awful.
Well, it's the same. It was the same team who did the ass blaster animation.
Oh,
because that was awful.
So this movie is beyond description, and just for the 4 people who watch So Bad It's Good, this is not a So Bad It's Good movie because exactly like you said, Jack, too much of it is intentional or ridiculous or tongue in cheek. But I enjoyed it closing in on the level of some of those lesser movies in that I was like, this is so horrible that I started laughing at things that I don't think were supposed to be funny. And the things that are supposed to be funny, I started laughing because they were so badly not funny that I don't know. Maybe I was delirious and drunk, but
you know what? You have a point. This movie might be fun watched with a crowd.
I think if you got possibly
a group of drunk people, this might be a lot more fun than if you're just alone.
I watched Baywatch with other people, and I definitely think watching it with other friends was.
And exactly. And I went back to this too. When I first started it, I was so disgusted, I just shut it off. And when I went back to it with kind of a different frame of mind, I enjoyed it a little more. So, I don't know. This is a weird movie.
You know, I kept thinking about that. What was the last Chucky movie that came out for Netflix?
Cult of Chucky.
I thought
Cult
about
of
that
Chucky.
too.
And I thought how these are kind of two different situations there. Cult of Chucky was like a lower rung horror movie, but kind of perfect for the Netflix platform. And, you know, good enough, funny enough. You know, it's not a high caliber horror movie, but it's like it's good Netflix content.
Yep.
And this was like not so much.
No. But we didn't pay anything for it other than our subscription to Netflix, which we take full advantage of. So whatever.
Hunter, give me your rating. What do you recommend this in any way, shape, or form?
If it could cure polio, maybe. Other than that, don't watch it.
So I think that's probably a no.
That's a big no.
Jacko?
If you are a Tremors completist, then by all means watch this movie.
By the way, how about the girl said, I'm a graboid enthusiast. The girl who called him and said, that's one line I fucking loved. So if you're a graboid enthusiast, yes.
I vaguely remember that. So I would, if you're a Tremors person, watch this movie. If you're everybody else, you can find better things to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I recommend this to pretty much no one, even though I got some laughs out of it. Yeah, if you're obsessed with Tremors, do it. If you like Sci-Fi Channel original movies, if you can get past the beginning, which feels so lazy, it's infuriating. If you can get to like the last half, it kind of starts having that Sci-Fi Channel feel to me, and I enjoyed the last half. So
if you like getting grossed out by movies, just watch this one because you see Michael Gross's ass.
Yes, and I recommend this to Michael Gross's wife. That's about it.
As one little tidbit, I could not understand why in the hell this movie is set in the far north, up at the North Pole or wherever in the hell it is, if it's not shot there. Snow has nothing to do with anything. There's no purpose.
It's for the title.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It turns out they were actually going to film it in a snowy location. I don't remember where it was now, but they got I think Bulgaria or something. They got a giant snowstorm, and they actually could not film there. So they just went back to South Africa where they shot the last movie to reuse stuff and reuse, I guess, crew. So that's why it ends up looking like completely ridiculous dog shit.
Dumb.
So there you go.
Oh, by the way, before we leave, I have a column at Cemetery Dance Online called Video Visions, and I just posted a thing about why I cannot stand Italian horror movies. So it's called...
Oh, Maron.
I think it's called There's Spaghetti in My VCR or something. Can't even remember the title. But anyway, if you want to find... I married an Italian woman. I can say any fucking thing I want. So if you want to find out why I don't dig Italian horror movies, check that out.
So what are we doing next week? Is it Deadpool?
Deadpool, right?
I'm going to try to see it. I'm traveling this weekend, so it's going to be tricky, but maybe.
So do you want to do something else? We could do Reanimator in between then.
I mean, it's going to be a big Deadpool weekend. What do you think, Jack?
Why don't we let's see if we're all successful in seeing Deadpool, and if not, we'll do Revenge.
Revenge. Okay, you said that was VOD, right?
I gotta pay for that, son of a bitch.
But let's call it Deadpool, and then I know Saturday I can't see Deadpool, so I got it either Friday or Sunday or Monday. So I have a pretty good shot at seeing this. But
I've got Monday or Monday, so it's.
Oh yeah. All right. So y'all know it's one of the two.
Follow us on the Twitters. We'll let you know.
We'll talk about it.
And one last thing, we got more reviews up on the website. Steve Barnard pumped out a great review for Werewolves of the Third Reich.
He sure did.
I just got a review up last night. I'm going to get another one up today. So we're starting to get 2, 3, 4 up a week. So check out.
I'm going to write some reviews for next week. So.
Oh yeah. So Pam Morris, is she the one who reviewed The Battery?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She's got to get hip with this, man. That movie was filmed in Connecticut by some guys that are friends of a friend of mine.
That's right. Damn it.
And they filmed that on a micro budget. So cut that movie some slack. That's a great little indie movie.
Look, you will never see another guy jerking off to a dead girl before. That's what makes it great.
That's right out of a Hunter Shea novel.
Baby.
It is, actually.
Yeah.
All right, people. We'll catch you next week for possibly Deadpool 2 and possibly Revenge.
There we go.
Bye.